Denver offensive line. And whatever you can, be aggressive and get to the quarterback. That's exactly what Vic Beasley, who had 3.5 sacks yesterday, tore it up. But that's just rapid. That's just a small portion of the NFL. I will go over the rest of the games this week. Now, moving on. What I want to do next, we are previewing the SEC for Week 6. In the SEC Players of the Week, today the SEC awarded Trevor Knight, the quarterback, Texas A&M on offense, as he led the Aggies to a 45-38 double overtime victory. Speaking of which, was a fantastic ball game. Tennessee coming down from 28-7 down to fall 45-38 in a double overtime. Top 10 matchup at Kyle Field on Saturday. Knight also rushed for 110 yards and 3 touchdowns, including the go-ahead touchdown in the second overtime. He completed 17 of 34 for 239 and 2 additional touchdowns. Did throw 2 picks, but he accounted for 5 touchdowns. That's right. Trevor Knight, the former Oklahoma quarterback, coming to College Station, doing some good things for this undefeated Aggie squad. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle their games down the stretch, but, you know, this team could easily win 10 games. I would never thought it before the year started. Never would I have thought that. But Sumlin's a good football coach, and he's got this team playing well. I think the thing up until the fourth quarter, their defense was playing well. Now Tennessee has been hit by the injury bug for sure, but A&M was able to hold on after an improbable finish to that game. I don't know if any one of you actually watched that game, but it was, I believe, 31-24 with about 2 minutes to go, 3 minutes to go, something like that. And A&M's running back breaks it for like a 70-yard run, only to be stripped at the 1-yard line. Tennessee gets the ball back, just like the week before. Goes down the field in literally 90 seconds. Touchdown. Alex Kamara runs it in. They send it to overtime, and then A&M wins the game in overtime as Dobbs throws a pick, and they take it. Great game. Defensive Player of the Week, Minkah Fitzpatrick of Alabama. Do I need to go anywhere? That's 3. He recorded 3 interceptions, including the longest interception return in program history, taking his 3rd pick back 100 yards for a score, which basically ended the game. He earned the Walter Camp National Defensive Player of the Week as well. Tied the Alabama school record with 3 picks in a single game, while also making 5 tackles and breaking up 2 passes. This also tied the Alabama career record for interception returns for a touchdown with 3 already. Congratulations there. Special Teams Player of the Week, J.K. Scott, punter of Alabama. He consistently flipped the field for Alabama in the 49-30 victory. Punted 4 times, 206 yards for an average of 50 yards a punt. Dropped 2 of his 4 inside the Arkansas 20. And booted a 63-yarder and 2 beyond 50 yards. So, Alabama's special teams defense. And they also had the freshman of the week, Jalen Hurts. He shined once again in the SEC game at Arkansas, road game at Arkansas, accounting for 273 yards of total offense and 4 touchdowns in the victory. He threw for 253 and 2 touchdowns, completed 76% of his passes. This kid's good. This kid is very, very good. He's well coached, well schooled. He caught on quickly. Lane Kiffin's made this guy into an unbelievably player right off the bat. We're gonna get a look at him in about a month. We're gonna see what this kid's all about. I mean, he wasn't sacked. He posted a career best 228.54 passer efficiency on the road in a hostile environment. He rushed for 20 yards, big deal. But he's a real deal, guys. This is going to be a tough game for LSU, as it is every year. Alabama's got it going on right now, especially on offense. Their defense is especially on the back end, is rough right now. They did get some interceptions, but they do give up a lot of yards. So LSU should have an opportunity to throw the ball down the field. Offensive line player of the week, John Toth, center at Kentucky. Defensive line player of the week was Carl Lawson. Defensive end is Auburn, as Auburn crushed Mississippi State 38-17. Had Carl Lawson had 2 sacks. They held Mississippi State scoreless in the first half. Just dominated. Now, I have some clips I want to play for you. The first one is Butch Jones and Nick Saban previewing the top 10 showdown in Knoxville. Here's what they had to say. We'll get to it. Basically, they're discussing this upcoming contest, what the Vols and the Tide, what their strengths, weaknesses are. It's going to be a great game.
Tennessee, this game is a really big rivalry game and a special one for a lot of people in our state that are our supporters and our fans. And, it's obviously a big game for our players as well. And it's very challenging to, play this game on the road as it always is, because there's always a lot of energy and enthusiasm.
Number 1 team in the country, what can I say? 18-game winning streak. 8 consecutive games where they've scored a non-offensive touchdown, so they're finding ways to score points via special teams, via defense. It doesn't matter.
This is a very, very good team, probably for sure, a top 10 team in the country, and it's going to be a very challenging game for us.
Explosive on offense, playmakers all over, big imposing offensive line. They've done a great job of protecting Hurts, and Hurts has done a tremendous job of really managing their offense. His running ability adds a whole nother element to their offense. And then 12th in the country in total defense, number 1 in fewest yards rushing.
They have a lot of veteran players returning. I think 18 starters total from last year. Quarterback's doing an outstanding job for him. He's a dual threat guy that is very difficult to defend. They have a very good offensive scheme in terms of being able to run the ball, and the explosive plays that they ever make with the skilled players that they have make them very, very difficult, to defend. And I think they've gotten better and better each year on defense, and certainly their defense has played a lot better, this year, and has been very, very difficult to defend.
A lot of respect for Coach Saban, a lot of respect for what's going on there. They're disciplined. They bring it every game. And, their program, every game is important because everywhere they go, they're Alabama. And that's something that we talk to our players now where we're in, is we've created a reputation for ourselves now. And everyone respects Tennessee and our football program and our players. And that's a great responsibility to play your best week in and week out. Not everyone can do that. It takes its teak. It takes its toll on you from a mental fatigue standpoint with all that. And Alabama does it with the best of anyone I've ever seen. And that's a tribute to what they've built in Tuscaloosa.
as you can see, that's going to be a very interesting game coming this Saturday. It's going to be on CBS, 2:30 game of the week. Surprise, surprise. I think you're going to see a high-scoring game. I think Alabama's probably going to get this by about 2 touchdowns. I think that's what you're probably looking at here. It's going to be, hey, look, that's always a big rivalry game, as Saban said, and it's going to be awesome. Tune in, 2:30 CBS. And we'll get to more of that later in the week. But I'm predicting about a 38-27, 38-24 game. So it's going to be interesting. Now we're going to hear from Coach Orgeron. Orgeron is really saying the Tigers will play with energy, excitement. He's going to talk about in this clip what he's learned from his players since taking over the team. Here's Coach.
I know that in preparation, you've watched a lot of what your team was able to do in the last game it played against Missouri. Your first game as head coach. What did you learn about this team that maybe you didn't know before when you watched them in that game?
Well, they pulled together. They played as a team. They played with energy. Tiger Stadium was electric. There's some things on the film that we did some excellent things. We have great players at LSU. If we put the ball in our playmakers' hands in space, we're going to have success. We have a tremendous defensive staff led by Dave Aranda, great talent on defense, and we're going to continue to improve in those areas.
What's the latest on your star tailback, Leonard Fournette?
Yeah, I think it's day by day. He's questionable. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but he is getting better.
So there is at least a good likelihood you won't have him again?
It doesn't look like it, but, day by day things could change. But, it's Monday right now. It's early in the week.
What do you know about Southern Miss? What have you been able to take away and relay to your team about this team?
Yeah, well, they have 530 yards a game on offense. They're 16th in the nation on defense. Jay Hobson's done a tremendous job. There's a lot of guys on Southern Miss's team that's from Louisiana. This is going to be a big game for them and their coaching staff, but it's not about them. It's about the LSU Tigers. I totally expect us to have a great week of preparation and play great on Saturday night.
What's the biggest emphasis from you with your team over these next few days of practice?
Focus on us. Focus on the Tigers. Get better every day.
So as you can see, Coach Orgeron really getting down to it. They got to play energy. They got to play high energy all the time. Southern Miss runs that no-huddle offense, spread attack that they're averaging 530 yards a game. Yes, they don't really play a whole lot of defense, but, it's going to be a tough game for LSU. There's no doubt about that. They're going to bring it on LSU, who's currently ranked third in total defense in the SEC. And it's going to be a tight game, I think, early on. But I think Southern Miss can get the ball down the field, some deep plays. But I think eventually LSU will probably wear them out toward the end of the game with Darius Geis. According to Orgeron, it doesn't look like Fournette's going to play again. And I'll be honest, guys, I don't know if the guy will play again at LSU. It looks like that ankle's a lot worse than we actually thought it was. Hopefully he gets back on the field. But the good thing for LSU is they are stacked at running back. And it's not going to hurt them all that much. Obviously, a player of his caliber, a Heisman Trophy candidate, the best running back in the nation, yes, it does hurt to lose something like that. And just as a short preview before I get out of here today, we had so much here, we just kind of ran out of time. But I want to just kind of answer a few questions here on the Southern Miss game. As you know, the last time Southern Miss played LSU, 1994, LSU game is remembered fondly by these fans. There was a group of Tigers that stumbled to a 4-7 season.